Good morning, everybody, again. My name is Alan Hughes. I work for Ascarii, and welcome to our monthly webinar. It's a short introduction to Ascarii and what we do. We'll talk about SAP Business One, and if you have any questions, please flag them, and I'm quite happy to answer questions directly or after the event if you would prefer to do it on a more personal basis. So without further ado, let me crack on. So thank you for joining, as I say. From our perspective, Ascarii are a cloud-first thinking SAP Business One Gold partner in the UK. So we started in 2013 with that mindset of being cloud-first. And whilst we do have some on-premise customers, the vast majority of our customer base are all working with our cloud environment, which is based on Amazon Web Services. So I'm probably one of the least technical people in the company. Most of the people in our business are very technically orientated, including our CEO, Stuart Wilson, who has a background as an IT director for large SAP implementations around the world. So Business One, if you aren't aware, is actually designed for SMEs. So growing SMEs usually experience pain when their systems aren't joined up, they're manually doing lots of additional processes, and quite frankly, they're wasting a lot of time. So this is where SAP Business One really works well. So it's been in operation since 2003. And at that time when it was released, it was predominantly set up as a solution for people who held stock. But since then, it's moved into all sorts of different environments. So we have customers who are exclusively financial based customers, we have stock holding customers, we have manufacturing, we have professional services. It really doesn't matter what market space you're in now. Business One can and is easily configured to fit the requirements of that industry. So the UK is well established as a really good user of SAP Business One, but it is global. So there are now over 70,000 customers of Business One globally. The largest site is approaching 1,000 users in China. So you can see that this is a very scalable solution because there are people out there with 1 or 2 users. And as I've just said, there's someone approaching 1,000. So it's very diverse. And in all honesty, should it fit your business requirements, it's unlikely you'll ever outgrow SAP Business One. The other thing as well I would say about Business One is that it's actually now available in 2 database flavors. So when it was originally released in 2003, it always came with an SQL database. But for the last few years, SAP developed their own database called HANA, H-A-N-A, and it's something I'll show you later. But the HANA database is an in-memory database. And the difference is that it allows you to have more additional functionality, better use of system, and access to data real time because it's all in memory as opposed to actually spooling a hard drive and going to search for it like SQL. So again, that's one of the things that they developed for the bigger SAP products out there, the ones that cost millions, but they've actually licensed that now to SAP Business One. And we are imminently about to go with version 10 of SAP Business One, which has HANA 2.0. So that has additional new functionality in there as well. So it's one of these things they're committed to actually ensuring that it's got a long-term future. And I personally know SAP Business One has a long-term roadmap for at least the next 10 to 20 years, if not longer. So any investment in Business One is one for the long term. What we also have at Ascarii, as you can see here, is a Cloud for Partners operation. Now, our cloud infrastructure is based on Amazon Web Services, best-selling cloud platform in the world. We have a very, very good working relationship with Amazon as we do with SAP. There are 2 main partners that we work with. And because it's on Amazon Web Services and because it comes with all of the benefits of Amazon, and the reliability, most importantly, it's a service that we can now provide for our other Business One partners around the world who actually don't have the experience with cloud, so they can now offer cloud to their customers. And that's a growing part of our business. That sort of explains a bit more of what we do there. And the reason we've gone with cloud is that people simply are demanding it. Most people want to actually stop having the headache of lots of tin and IT on premise and all the headaches that goes with it. Amazon, if you ever had the ability to go and visit one of their data centers, you would actually realize just how far advanced they are over what we all anticipate data centers to be. Even the more recent films of Mission Impossibles, where they've got big server rooms with pull-out servers and things, they don't exist anymore. They're all pods now, self-sealed pods. And if something ever goes wrong with one, Amazon just unplug it and plug another one in. It really is quite an amazing environment. And that's why Amazon are different to pretty much everybody else out there who's offering cloud hosting. So with this level of growth that's forecasted, and the very fact that people are now so used to cloud, you know, who doesn't watch Netflix or Amazon Prime, who doesn't use Spotify or Apple Music nowadays? Pretty much everyone has touched cloud in some respect. So it's very much a case of let's embrace that and utilize that within our businesses too. One of the benefits that cloud provides to you over and above an on-premise solution is that it's very predictable, but also very flexible on billing. So typically we can either invoice monthly or quarterly in advance for the solutions that we provide, and there are no upfront costs. There is nothing. You don't need to go and buy a server for X thousands of pounds for a proper one. It's Amazon Web Services has it, and all of that capability. Also, when I touched on HANA before, HANA is actually sold in chunks of, as you can see, gigabytes. So 64 gig is an entry level, all the way up to 512 gig. And what we have is a calculator that will help us work out over the next 3 years. Let's be devil's advocate here. Most people would tend to buy a server and try and keep it longer than 3 years, but I think the server manufacturers recommend 3 years. So if we base it on that model, and we said, right, well, in 3 years' time, we're going to be X size, but we're only a smaller size at the moment. When you're doing that and buying on-premise tin, you're actually having to buy a server that can cope with the size you'll be in 3 years' time, which is demonstrated by the diagram on the left. With the cloud, the whole point is it's scalable. You do not have to invest in that level of infrastructure to start with, but we monitor that as part of our service. And as and when you start getting to levels that need to go up, you are then scaling up as you grow. So it's a great way of actually making sure you're not spending more than you have to. It provides a compelling total cost of ownership. It's one of those things when you start actually looking at all the hidden costs that come with on-premise, cloud is definitely what people are now preferring. And that's what our customers are telling us. We touched about this already, but it's very flexible and scalable. Because of the unique way that we set up our infrastructure for SAP Business One, we don't just set up a server to run the system. So we have 3 types of server. We have a database server, we have an application server, and a presentation server that the actual users log into. That load sharing helps keep your system running at optimum levels. But as you can see, we're not just sticking around with the initial build. We can add resources as and when needed. We can amend the size of the servers. And as I touched on already, the ongoing monitoring and support of it is part of our service. Complete build and design and build service. It's something that we would work out with you and then build it to your requirements. And I can't stress this enough, Amazon is the most secure you can possibly get. When military agencies and security agencies around the world are using Amazon, it's incredibly secure. It's not someone's garage or small warehouse that they've converted into a cloud center for you. It is absolute top of the range that you could possibly get. I will stress as well, this is really important because a number of businesses I speak to aren't just based in the UK, they are expanding around the world. And one of the nice things about Amazon is they are already there. So they're fully compliant with all the regulations of each country, each jurisdiction, anywhere in the world. And that does get rid of the potential headache for when you aren't looking at cloud with Amazon. And this is an example of where we are today. So all the countries in yellow are where we're already trading, and whether that's directly with supplying SAP Business One to our own customers or supplying our cloud services to other B1 partners, you can see that we're spreading out across the world rapidly. We've just gone live with the American AWS data center, as well as the UK and Ireland. Frankfurt's next, and then we're moving into the Far East. So it's very much a growing library of what we can do here. So that's all very well from a perspective of Ascarii and our capabilities. It's also interesting to know what SAP are talking about. So they've released a latest roadmap document of what they're doing. So there's a few slides. I don't want to show you everything in here, but just to give you an idea of where they're coming from. This is just confirmation from SAP. They are absolutely strategic. SAP Business One is one of their key objectives. They can get more net new names working with SAP by getting people to invest in SAP Business One than they can with the big SAP product. Granted, they make billions more on the big SAP solution. However, there's only so many Coca-Colas in this world. So what they are looking for is companies like yourselves who are growing and want to actually take on board a solution that will help you for the long term. So it's very secure as an investment. There is a lot in SAP Business One. So as I said before, it's over 70,000 customers are using it. The majority of those are SMBs or SMEs. However, even corporates are now buying SAP Business One for new startups, new factories, new warehouses, new offices around the world, because it integrates and talks to big SAP too. And whilst it has the appearance of being modular, all of these features are in the product. You just choose whether you wish to use them or not. So from an accounting and financials perspective, it's very strong, incredibly strong, in fact. But it has projects, it has production, it has MRP. Stock control has always been a real strength. So batch control, serial tracking, all the things that people want from a proper stock control system are within the system. Has the capability, there are options around providing a full WMS solution to go with that. So you can introduce barcode scanning should you have that stock requirement. Purchasing operations, sales and service. And all of this works in the back office system, but it also, I'm pleased to say, works on a mobile basis. So there's already a sales or a service application that works on people's phones that links directly to Business One. There are a wealth of other options as well. So it's very much a case of that you're not limited to this. It's really a case of the solution will work for you. And part of what we always do is we always supply a solution called Boyum with our SAP Business One solution. That's developed in the same code as Business One, and it upgrades with Business One. And the most important thing that does is it gives you complete control of how you configure the solution without the need to having to bespoke it. So gone are the days where you actually have to ask a supplier like Ascarii to actually, can you do this? Yes, we are, and we're coding on the edges. That doesn't happen anymore. We can do it in the system. And just as importantly, we can show you how to do it so you can take ownership of that and start to manipulate and configure the system yourselves. You don't need to require Ascarii and the cost that comes with that to do it. So there's lots there. Any of these documents I'm more than happy to send to you after the event. But as you can see, there's a lot in the roadmap. There's a lot going on with regards to their I'm trying to see if this one, yeah. So this is version 10. This is what the new version will be looking like. We're currently upgrading our demonstration system to this version. So should you want a proper demonstration after today's presentation to yourselves, this is likely to be the version that we show you when we come to see you. What I also have though is the currently released version. Now this is 9.3. And this is an example of how the system works and looks and feels. So we have a number of widgets of which we can design and change on screen. And the whole idea is that every user who logs into Business One can actually have their own screen and the contents of that screen and layout. So it's a way of driving your use of the system without having to go into the menu structure and actually finding what you're looking for. So, for example, if I always dealt with sales orders, I can click on sales orders under common functions. But as well as that sort of facility available to you, you also have a variety of different widgets. So we've got things like graphs, which we can go into. We've got counters, which are color coded and show you an upwards or downwards trend. We have counters themselves. So if I click on that one, it comes up with your open AR invoices, of which if I was in credit control or in the finance team, I could then click on any of these golden arrows and drill down to any of those documents. But we have a wealth of different types. So we have bigger graphs with more reporting capability on screen. But what we also have are things like processes. So there's a financial process, and this is a great way of learning the system when you initially get it. So instead of having to go into the menu and going into finance and finding how to put a journal in or do a period end, you can just go to this process map and just click on the part you want to do, and it will take you direct to that end of the system. And there's also a stock management process, a purchasing process, a sales process as well. So not everybody would have all of them on screen, but it's very much a case of that's what the art of the possible is. So that's what I wanted to show you today, just to give you an idea of what Ascarii are about, how we work, what we provide, and what we do. If there's any questions, has anyone sent any questions through? No, nothing as yet. I'm more than happy to answer them. If anyone's got any questions now, I can make people available to speak. So I will unmute you. If anyone's got any questions now, please, by all means, ask them. Right, okay, everyone's being shy or no one has any questions, so that's fine. Well, in that case, thank you very much for your time this morning. It was just a quick introduction to Ascarii, SAP Business One, and the art of the possible. We'd love to talk to you more. If you would like to have a more detailed meeting and a more detailed presentation of the software and its capabilities, more than happy to arrange that when you're ready. Thank you for your time. And if no one has any other further questions, I will close the meeting and look forward to speaking to you in the future. Thanks again.